Hello, my name is Josephine Laing, and I recently caught the flu, and then I wound up with some upper sinus congestion. And I'd never really had much of a problem with upper sinus congestion, but I've known a number of people who have, and it's very uncomfortable. And so I wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible, because sometimes if we let these things linger, they don't clear up very well. So I went ahead and started experimenting with what might bring me to my healing. And one of the things that I began with that felt so comfortable and nice was just plain hot compresses. And I did that by taking a little washcloth, something like this, and I would go ahead and get it hot in hot water in the sink, and then I would wring it out so that it was nearly dry, wringing it really well after getting the cloth completely wet, and then I would just place that over my face like this. And then just breathe for a few minutes with that, and then I might do it again 2 or 3 times, and I found that to be very soothing to relaxing the upper bones and the cavities in the face. And there are several cavities that are part of our sinuses. There are, of course, the maxillary sinus that we're all familiar with. That's where the air from the nose passes through the maxillary sinus before going to the lungs. But there's also the frontal sinus, which is up here in the forehead. And then that frontal sinus extends down beside the nose, the base of the nose. And then the ethmoid sinus, which is a little lower on either side of the nose and also extends largely behind the eyes. And then there's also the sphenoid sinus, which is back here in the jaw, or just above the jaw. And all of those bones, they're large bones, and so they have air spaces in them, or cavities that allow the air to resonate. Like, for instance, opera singers are often singing from this frontal sinus. It really gives them a lot of resonance to their voice, rather like the hole in a guitar. It creates the resonating chamber. And so having those sinuses congested can be very, not only uncomfortable, but it affects our voice as well, and our ability to project. So I really wanted to get those clear. And it took me a little while to kind of figure out some of the things to do, but I did one of the old standards that my mother taught me, which was breathing steam. And so using an old cooking pot, rather like this one, I filled this with water on the stove and brought it to nearly a boil so that it was steaming pretty well. And then I set it on the table with a cutting board, a wooden cutting board under it to protect the wood of the table. And then I took a towel, rather like this, and just draped my head and everything with the towel and covered the pot, and then went ahead and breathed the steam in there. You make a steam tent. And I also added in a few drops of several of my favorite essential oils. Tea tree is known as a great strong antibacterial. Lavender is one of the major purifications that people have used in sick rooms to spray a little lavender spray. Really helps to keep the air clear. And then frankincense, of course, one of the great essential herbs for essential oil. And so using those, like 1 or 2 drops of either or all of them, or whichever one you choose, I think it's best to just go to the essential oils in the healthy food store and see what smells really good to you. Maybe it's lemongrass, or who knows what it is, could be citrus. And then use that essential oil in your steam bath like that. And then as well, I also used a little Tulsi basil essential oil that I put in olive oil. And then I would take that, and in bed at night, just before falling asleep, I would rub a little bit of this essential oil on my cheeks and massage it into my bones of my face, and let that lovely smell of the Tulsi basil, which is a known healing herb. It's considered to be a goddess, actually, in some countries. Let that Tulsi basil penetrate my skull bones and my sinuses to further help clear the sinuses and bring them relief. I also used several of my favorite herbal friends. Nutribiotic makes this Defense Plus, which has, of course, vitamin C and zinc and grapefruit seed extract in it, which is a wonderful antibacterial, along with echinacea, maitake mushroom, and several other good ingredients. And then one of my favorite healing herbs is pau d'arco. Pau d'arco is an antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and anti-tumor. And I took 4 of these twice a day to really help cleanse my body, and that was very effective as well. But I think my very favorite thing, and the thing that really brought about the healing for me of my upper sinuses, was a hot Epsom salts bath. And so I'd draw a nice big hot bathtub full of water, pour in at least this much Epsom salts, if not twice that much. The magnesium is great, for helping to open the capillaries of the body, which of course is what you need to do in the lungs when the lungs are congested, and as well with the sinuses. And I forgot to mention that all of these sinuses here share the same epithelial membrane. So they are continuous, with epithelial meaning skin, and it's for our respiration. So all of our air can pass up into those sinuses and back out again. And so to get that drainage happening through those little passages, it requires a little bit of effort to get that moving well again when they've been inflamed. So this hot Epsom salts bath routine was wonderful. I'd start soaking for maybe 20 minutes in a hot bath, and till the muscles are all nice and relaxed and loose and the skull bones are moving freely. And then I would roll over onto my stomach and begin to tone and make sounds and blow bubbles. So I would inhale with my head above water and then exhale with my head below the water, with my face below the water. Maybe not my whole head, just my face. And then take another inhalation and then blow bubbles and exhale, making sounds. And as I would make the sounds, I would place my teeth, my front teeth, together like this. And as I would make those sounds, the teeth vibrating, resonating with the bubbles massaging, my skull bones would pick up a resonation with the sound, and those sinuses really began to drain. So that was a wonderful therapy, and I think it really was the key to fully clearing my sinuses again, my upper sinuses. That, along with the herbs, the pau d'arco, because we don't want secondary infections like funguses and things to set up housekeeping up in those moist, dark chambers of our heads. So I hope that this was of help to you, and please check out my website if you get a chance. It's stepintomagic.com. Thanks so much for listening. Have a blessed day.